I said I wanna rock.
Are we gonna be goofing off like this every day?
We're not goofing off. We're creating musical fusion.
Wow. You're amazing, dude.
Thanks. I like to play.
I'm a small reporter from Rolling Stone magazine that's in town to do an exclusive interview with Michael Jackson.
I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
It is time for the Unsigned and Unhinged Meltdown.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Unsigned Unhinged Meltdown. I am your host, Frank E. I have with me all the way from Cali, California, I have Capital Punishment with me. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good. And yourself?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing a lot better than I was. As my listeners know, we had a bit of a 3-week absence because there was difficulties in the home as well as difficulties in my health. I was in the hospital for a minute there, but
Oh, sorry to hear that.
I'm all good now. So I'm a fighter, damn it.
Excellent. So what happened with you?
What's that?
What happened with you?
I had cellulitis in my leg.
Oh, wow.
It's nasty. It's nasty. I was in so much pain, but yeah. I mean, you guys are out in Cali. I mean, how's the weather out there right now?
Fucking hot. Hot. Really.
It's hot.
And sticky.
Dude, well, it's like kind of cold here. You know, we're in Wisconsin, and what they say about Wisconsin is if you don't like the weather, just wait 15 minutes. Because, trust me, it's probably going to change, and it more than likely will. So you guys are now a 5-piece band, as we were talking about a little bit earlier.
So we just added a new guy who's a bass player now.
Hi, new guy! Oh man, we're probably gonna have like technical difficulties most of this broadcast because, as I just recently found out, it is time for Frank E to get a new headset. So I'll be doing that hopefully after the holiday. Hopefully I can get that done. But yeah, how long have you guys been together as a band?
As a band, it started about like 2 years ago. The guitarist and the other two came by around like a few months ago. So we started about 2 years ago with other members, and they dropped out. So we ended up getting new members, and now here we are, the full band.
Yeah, yeah. And the name Capital Punishment, like where did that come from? And is there a meaning behind the title of the band?
Yeah, I mean, Capital Punishment came from a band called Os Rotten. That's where I originally came up with it, and then yeah, there is a meaning. It means like it's pretty fucked up how how we're putting people on death row. It's just inhumane to like really take away life.
Yeah.
Humans don't get to play God.
Yeah, humans don't get to play God. God gets to play God.
Well, amen for that. So,
I mean, who are we to decide who lives and who dies?
Well, and there's people that will argue with that one, but there's people that totally agree with you. It's a major hot button. Major.
I mean, our rebuttal on that is that you can't please everybody.
Exactly, you can't, because there's people out there that are like, Trump is not my president. Well, guess what? You live in America. Whether you like it or not, he is your president.
I mean, you're not going to sink the captain who's fucking driving the boat, you know?
Yeah. So, now, you guys are in California, but where exactly in California are you guys located?
Whittier, California.
Los Angeles County.
They're in Compton, yo.
Roughly. It's around there.
Or by East LA, actually.
See, like me, my music is very, very diverse. And as a lot of my friends know, like NWA was like one of my main inspirations in music in my life. They're one of my top 5 bands of all time, and a lot of people are like, really?
Oh, I mean, come on. I mean, it's NWA. They made a standard for black people in general. They actually split up. It said something.
Anybody else in the band have an opinion?
It's NWA. I mean, you got Dre, you got Ice Cube, you got fucking Eazy-E.
Easy motherfucking E.
That's right.
Man, I don't know. Like, I sat there and man, there was a shirt that was online that my brother found it, and it was like one of those like Charlie Brown, I really miss so and so, and it was Charlie Brown sitting there going, I really miss Eazy-E. I was like, hell yeah, dude, I need to get that fucking shirt.
The only problem I have with NWA is that, I mean, how do you go from niggas with attitude to Are We Here Yet?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of it's with you know how it was in that time frame.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they had the song "Fuck the Police" and it's Straight Outta Compton. That album, in my opinion, it was like one of the biggest groundbreaking albums of my generation. I mean, there's nothing about it that you can say it's a bad album. It totally changed hip hop and rap.
Definitely.
But we're not here to talk about NWA as much as I could sit there and talk about that album and that group all day long. We're going to talk about Capital Punishment. Now, you guys recorded a demo. Now, as most bands know, that because I have a lot of bands that listen to the show, and I have a lot of people that listen to the show, getting into the studio to actually record a real CD is very expensive.
It is. Actually, we actually found a solution to that. Before I started this band, I pretty much am putting out a studio in my own room myself. So I have literally all the equipment that we jam out with and do all the recordings, I pay and provide myself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I'm totally do DIY. I mean, you can pay so much money and come out with a shitty mix, something you don't like. You know, if you're not knowledgeable about mixing, recording, mastering, I do it all myself.
Yeah.
So I know, like, and we get to take the time that we do on our own time instead of paying for time.
Yeah. So now, because most of the tracks that you guys sent over to me were just demo tracks, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
All of them, actually.
Yeah, all of them are demo tracks. So I mean, really, like our schedules are really pretty tight with work. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
We're gonna come out with a full length EP, hopefully sometime early next year.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, dude, like, you guys, and what you, like, I always say this time and time again, because bands are trying to make it, every band at one point in time was a local, unsigned, independent band, and bands make money from you going to shows, buying their merch, buying their music, and such like that. You know, fuck Pirate Bay, go and buy stuff, dude. Stop being a cheap ass.
I mean, for us, I mean, it really was a hobby. So at all of our shows, like, I'll burn and like put CDs out. We'll give them out for free. We give out at least like 20 to 25 and plus 25 patches per show. So we give them out for free. I mean, we're not looking to make nothing. We're just looking to just put out what we love, you know?
Okay, so you can pirate their stuff.
Sounds like it. I mean, yeah, I mean, as long as you listen to it, we don't care.
Yeah,
That's all we care about.
like me personally, I'm a huge supporter for the local and independent music scene. So I'm all about, you know, bands just trying to make it and that such, which is why I started this podcast. So getting on to things here, one of the first songs that we're going to play by you guys, honestly, it's probably my favorite song that you guys sent over to me, which was Abuse of Authority.
Oh, shit. Thank you.
I really, really enjoy that song. If you want to, why don't you guys, like, tell us a little bit about that song? Like, the meaning behind it, and like how the writing process worked for you with that song.
Well, Abuse of Authority was about pretty much like police and their control over society as it is. Like, go ahead.
Okay, so actually, that song actually talks about race and disparity, especially here in Los Angeles. You see it every day. There's racism. You look at our jail population and everybody in prison. The majority of them are minorities, and it's not fair. And that's basically what the song is stating. You guys have anything you guys want to add to it?
Yeah, it's pretty much like police just having too much control, too much power, and they get away with anything they want, and they escape away just free.
Yeah, I've had many friends that have been incarcerated. You know what I mean, and they say, and I'm not trying to offend anybody by race by saying this, but they say the whites are the minority. While being incarcerated, I'm like, dude, that's just. I can't believe like how it's just so. Like when you're talking with incarceration, it's just. Like, I don't understand why the authority figures, as you would say to put it, would be targeting minorities so much. And I see it all the time.
See the thing is, I think it's just human nature. You know, you just target the smallest.
Yeah.
Regardless, no matter what state you're in, the reason we wrote it and we talk about minorities, especially being like Hispanics and African Americans over here, is because that's what we see a lot. And where you live, I know that there's a lot of Caucasians, and I'm sure you guys see it as well. And that's basically what the song is. It doesn't have just one specific race that we're targeting. It's for everybody. That's the whole point of all of our music. We're just trying to connect with everybody. No matter who you are, where you're from, we are all connected through our music.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else. I'm sorry. So, all right, guys, we're going to play that song for you guys. Check it out. This is Abuse of Authority. All right, guys, it was Abuse of Authority. That was Capital Punishment. As of right now, you go to their shows. Otherwise, if there's any listeners that are not from California, is there anywhere else they can get your music right now?
YouTube, and I believe Facebook. We have some videos uploaded, but mostly YouTube.
YouTube? Alright. So yeah, like always, guys, I'll have those links like right below the video here on YouTube. Otherwise, everything will be up on Facebook, so check it out. Now, you guys have been around for 2 years as a band, but as with the lineup you got now, minus the new guy that came in recently, how long have you guys been together as a four-piece with the lineup that you have?
We came in about 3-4 months ago.
So about 4 months you guys been playing with the lineup that, minus the new guy?
Yeah.
Okay. In that time frame, what would you say are some of your more favorite venues that you guys actually had a chance to play at?
Oh,
we've been playing around LA, Santa Ana,
Compton, South Central,
honestly,
Orange County.
Yeah, I mean, I think Santa Ana had a good crowd response.
Oh yeah, I definitely
love playing that.
Would you say? Oh, go ahead.
So we're actually playing in Santa Ana on the 9th.
Yeah, we have a show on the 9th.
Yeah, you got a show coming on the 9th? Is that what you said?
Yeah, we have a show on the 9th in Santa Ana.
Okay.
So next Saturday.
Now, see, this is the kind of time where I wish that my podcast was already really big and I was making tons of money. Because then I would just, hop in a private jet and go and see some of these shows that are all over the place. Because, dude, I would just be like, hey, can I come? And you guys would be like, oh, fuck yeah, come to the show.
Hey.
Oh, yeah, this dude from Wisconsin is just coming to check us out. It's okay. Yeah.
Like I said, only
Maybe
in a
one
perfect
day.
world.
What's that?
Only in a perfect world.
Yeah, only in a perfect world, you know what I mean? But these things happen. Oh, man, have you guys, had a chance to, I know that from other people that I've talked to out in California and on the coast, they said the local music scene is pretty rich there in Los Angeles area. Have you guys had an opportunity to play with any bands out there, or is the information that I'm hearing kind of incorrect?
Well, I mean,
I would say there's a few choice bands out there that we actually appreciate.
I mean, one band for sure would be a band called Nightmare Visions, and another band called Day Drunks. I mean, we've been having a little bit of difficulty finding some gigs at some point, just because promoters are very hard to come by sometimes. Actually, real good promoters. We played gigs that we literally opened and ended at that same time. Nobody showed up,
No, we have one.
And we still play because we gladly play them. You want to know why? Because we love playing music. It's not,
of course.
We don't do it for other people's praise and all that bullshit. It's not us.
It was pretty much just a glorified practice.
Yeah. Now, I've heard this from so many different bands from what you guys have just said there. You could have one person in the crowd, you could have 300 people in the crowd, and the energy is still going to be the same. However, if you have that one guy that's so energetic and into it, you guys are going to feed off that energy from that one guy.
Yeah, we're singing with them.
You know what I mean? I mean, I see it all the time. I was just at my buddy's show the other night here in town, and it's just there's so much energy.
Oh, you're cutting out.
Am I cutting out?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Go ahead. There you go.
Are we good now?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, I prefer to go to an independent show or a local show rather than going to a bigger show, because
it's way different.
it's just the quality is better. Maybe not always sound wise, but the energy just seems more what's the word, genuine. I would probably say.
That's actually a perfect word to say.
So, now, like, out of the different, places that you guys had a chance to play, what would you say your preference is? Having a larger stage where you guys can be, like, moving around all over the place and interact with the band more, or a smaller, intimate stage where you're, like, right up front with the audience or the crowd, so to speak?
I would say up close, because you can just feed off their energy. It's a lot more intimate, I would say.
Well, I mean, like the perfect place would be the Rose Bowl, for sure. That'd be nice.
Hey, one day it could happen. It could have happened. You could be like, dude, Capital Punishment's playing at the Rose Bowl. Yeah!
I mean, you never know. I mean, I just seen Metallica with Avenged Sevenfold down there. They never knew they were going to play that show back in the days.
Yeah, they could, like, I'm predicting the future right now. Like, 5 years from now, Avenged Sevenfold is opening up for Capital Punishment at the Rose Bowl. All right, there you go. You heard it here. Right on Unsigned, Unhinged. Avenged Sevenfold in 5 years' time will be opening up for Capital Punishment. Now, like, in 5 years, is anybody going to remember that I said it? Maybe these guys will, but I'll probably forget. And then they'll yell at me in 5 years going, dude, it never happened. I'll be like, dude, I asked the Magic 8 Ball, and the Magic 8 Ball said it would happen. So, the Magic 8 Ball never lies, I'm telling you, seriously.
Hey, that Magic 8 Ball is drunk.
Magic 8 Ball can be drunk sometimes.
Go home, 8 Ball, you're drunk.
Exactly. I asked the Magic 8 Ball if I was going to win the lottery. It said, yes, undoubtedly so. And I didn't win. I was like, you lying motherfucker.
I mean, if that was the case, we would have bought a better headset.
I know, right? I would have had a better headset right now. I'd have a better laptop right now. My goodness.
You wouldn't be interviewing a shitty band.
Hey, now. Hey, now. You guys ain't that shitty. Calm down.
Oh, that was a goal.
You guys ain't that shitty. I've heard worse. I've heard a gazillion times worse. Let's think. One Direction.
Oh yeah. I think the purpose of all the recordings that we did is that we really wanted to make a shitty sound. That way, when we come out with the actual full release album, it's something to be wow to. You know what I mean? Something to be expected.
There's actually a shitty band, as they like to be referred to as a shitty band, but it was part of my childhood. They're going to be playing in Kenosha, which is Green Jelly. I don't know if you guys know Green Jelly.
No.
Green Jelly actually did a song, part of my childhood. They did a song called The Three Little Pigs.
Oh, shit.
They actually did a rock song of the nursery rhyme, The Three Little Pigs.
Oh, shit.
You guys need to Google search that and look it up. Like, I'm telling you, that was like part of my childhood. And they're actually going to be doing a show in Kenosha, and I'm like freaking ecstatic. The third little piggy, and when the wolf was all pissed, he called 911, and they sent out Rambo just as fast as they could. It's a line from the song. So I don't own the rights to that song, so if I get sued for it, I'm sorry. Which I hope I don't. I mean, I'm just a little small podcast here. Oh, man. So, the next song we're going to play for all you lovely Meltdown maniacs, which, as they said, this was kind of like their anthem, which was the Anti-1%. Now, it's kind of a unique title, Anti-1%. It's like a negative 1%. Is that what it's supposed to mean?
Well, the Anti-1% is more like fuck the rich.
Ah, yes. Yeah. Fuck you, white-collar motherfuckers.
Fuck percenters are the guys who pretty much control society as we know it.
While we struggle, they thrive.
Yeah, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer.
And that is such a true statement. Fuck you, Trump. How the hell you gotten president? Because you're rich, you stupid motherfucker.
Exactly, that's what I said.
Oh. Now I'm going to get sued by Trump. That's right, Trump. I said you sucked.
I mean, not that
they take anybody to be a president nowadays.
I mean, honestly, we wouldn't want Hillary anyways.
I wouldn't want Hillary or Trump.
Neither. I mean, if it was up to me, I'd rather have Obama for another 4 years.
Yeah. Like, I was honestly going to do a write-in vote for Rob Van Winkle. Do you know who Rob Van Winkle is? Please tell me you know who that is.
No, we don't, actually. Oh, at least I don't.
All right, stop. Collaborate and listen.
If there is a problem, he'll solve it. So, yeah, I was going to write for Rob Van Winkle, because if there's a problem, he'll solve it.
Hey,
yeah.
Jello Biafra for president.
Hey, 2020, I'm voting for Dwayne Johnson. I don't care. He'll just rock bottom somebody into submission and be like, yep, we beat your ass.
I mean, at this point, it's idiocracy. Anybody can be president.
Idiocracy is such a great movie, and it's a true story of what's happening to the...
It's becoming true. I mean, now that we have fucking Trump, like, literally it's becoming a reality. It became a fucking movie and a spoof, and, like, you know, somewhat of a true story, but fucking, it's becoming true. True as we know it.
Yes, it has. I mean,
everybody has a computer in their pocket. I mean, people are just more warped in their mind, looking at a screen.
And as I'm sitting here dry, they're drinking beer. I can see it, and I'm jealous. I'm jelly.
You down to have one with us?
Well, unfortunately, I cannot drink beer, as I am gluten intolerant. So I drink my Angry Orchard. I drink Angry. I found out I was gluten intolerant. I'm like, well, that's why I was always getting sick when I was drinking beer. Well, which sucks because I love beer. But anyway, dude, we sidetrack so much and we go way off target so much on this show. But that's what I love because it's intimate. You get to know the band better, and we talk about random stupid shit all the time.
Yep.
But all right, guys, check out this song. This is Anti 1%. Yeah, that was the song, the anti-1%, and we're just saying, fuck you, Trump.
Fuck you, Hillary.
Fuck you, Hillary. The only rich person I don't want to say fuck you to is Vince McMahon, because, damn, I love wrestling. I don't want to tell Vince McMahon to fuck off, because then I'll never get to watch wrestling anymore.
Yeah, you banking off your back.
But
just watching this.
Hey, these things happen. These things happen. So, we're going to get into the portion of the podcast that I like to do, because it's kind of like the fun. It's the fun getting to know the band on a funner level. Funner. It's a word. I invented it.
Here, guys.
Google that shit. So, alright, we'll kind of go around the horn with this one. Alright, if you guys could go on tour with any band, whether they're alive, dead, broken up, who would you guys want to go on tour with? And you guys can all field this question individually. It doesn't matter.
I mean, me personally, I would go with Minor Threat.
Dead Kennedys with Jello Biafra, not the new ones.
There you go.
Black Flag, Henry Rollins.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Yeah.
Death.
True Sounds of Liberty.
Yeah.
Dude, that would just be one angry festival, I'm just saying. Like, people would just be like, there would be like so much, I don't know what happening. Alright, so now we'll go around the horn. Like these questions here, we kind of just go around the horn. So this question is, what was the first album that you ever bought, purchased, or was given to you?
My first, I believe, was that I actually appreciated was Death Symbolic.
Mine was MOD's Gross Misconduct.
Slayer's God Hates Us All.
It was an EP by Undead Sex.
Alright, and mine, I don't care if you make fun of me, because they're probably just punching the face anyways. The first CD that I actually bought, that I really fucking loved and got me into rock and roll in general, was Linkin Park, Hybrid Theory. And yes, Chester was my influence for my vocals, so if you're listening to our band, guess what?
Yeah. That is, in my opinion, one of the greatest albums of all time. I don't care what anybody says.
Yes.
It's one of the greatest albums ever made. Now, seeing as you guys like went all hardcore, do you guys want to hear how softcore I was when I was growing up? The first album that was ever given to me was New Kids on the Block.
Oh, God.
How old are you?
I am 38 years old.
Alright.
Dude, Hanging Tough, dude, that was my friggin' jam back in the day. I don't care. Like, I had all the New Kids on the Block merch. I was trying to be a player. I was trying to get the girls. I'm just saying.
Hey, I mean, we all are.
And that lasted like 6 months. I'm just saying. My New Kids fad. It was a fad. It was a fad. I was trying to get with girls. It didn't work. All right, we'll go around the horn again here. What was the first concert you've ever been to?
First concert was Linkin Park and Cypress Hill.
The Big Four in India.
It was a little, I think it was like an indie band called The Umbrellas. Never heard of it.
Just give me I got to think about this.
My first actual concert that was at a venue was for the Addicts. It was actually a birthday gift, and we didn't have tickets, so we ended up paying the bouncer extra, and we got in.
Now, when you say concert, do you mean with a venue, or is it like local? Or
It could be either or, man. The first one you ever been to?
All right. Well, my first actual venue was for Danzig.
That's the way to start it off, man. Danzig, man. I'm jealous because Linkin Park is like my favorite band. It's like in my top 3. It's Rush, Linkin Park, and Bad Religion. They have nothing in common at all.
Oh, no, definitely.
But I've seen Rush, I've seen Bad Religion, but I've never seen Linkin Park, and I'll never be able to.
Linkin Park, I went to go see him at, I think it was a Staples Center. It was with Cypress Hill, and like, dude, they put on a fucking hell of a show. Fucking Chester Bennington and Mike Shinoda, they brought it all, that show.
They usually always do. My first concert was AC/DC. So that was a killer concert. That was also the first time I was ever introduced to weed.
Of course.
Because I'm sitting there, I'm like 16, and we're all smoking, and this guy's passing along. And I'm like, why are you passing a cigarette, man? And I'm like, took a hit, and I'm like, dude, I don't like non-filtered cigarettes. And I'm passing it along to my guy. I'm like, whoa, dude, that cigarette was funky. And he was like, well, that wasn't a cigarette, dude. And then I got paranoid as hell. But, hey, these things happen. And now if my parents are listening, they might just end up kicking my ass. So,
it always makes for a story.
It does. It's like a great story. It could be a great movie. Starring me. As me. Anyway.
There you go.
Well, Vivian mentioned that like her influence was Chester Bennington. Which I don't know if she had any more, but that's kind of where we're going at now. She jumped ahead a little bit of me, but that's okay. We jump all over the place. But going around the horn here again, what are some of your inspirations, whether it be musical or non-musical? Like, what puts you in a direction that you're going musically?
Music-wise, just in general, it was Slayer. I'm a big metal fan, But as far as punk rock, TSOL just kicked down that door for me. Ever since then, I'm into punk rock, metal, all kinds of music.
For me, I started playing guitar a while back, and I initially wanted to learn how to play the drums, but my mother said they were too loud. So I asked for electric guitar, and it started about 8 years for me. Years ago.
As far as punk rock influences, I would have to say Swamp Peddlers.
I mean, for influences, because I started off on bass. I learned bass for like 10 years. So a big influence for me was the Pistols and like Sid Vicious. For a while, I thought I was like the Sid Vicious reincarnation for a while, and then
still does
from time to time. And then my mom always told me like, no, the drums are too loud, blah blah blah. And I knocked down that wall real quick when I bought a drum set. I'm like, it's already here. What are you gonna do about it, right? So I started playing the drums, and then another influence would be like Mark Portnoy. It's or like the Ram from Vince Sevenfold. That really brought up the middle side of the drumming itself, or like thrash music, of course, like BRI, MOD, SOD, and Toxic Holocaust, Dual Grind. You know, that was for me.
Oh, my turn. Alright, so when I was younger, it was Linkin Park, obviously, like I mentioned before. Growing up, when I got more into punk, it was really Adolescence, TSOL, a lot of the older bands that I really got into. I just loved their lyrics. They were so passionate and just something I've never heard before. And I think that's what really influenced me to become a vocalist, especially for a punk band, because before this I actually was in a grunge band with my friends. I was actually the guitar player. I actually do play guitar, bass, but I ended up switching to a vocalist, and we had a show one day, and our singer was too embarrassed. I love you, Becca, by the way. Sorry for telling the story. But yeah, that really became my focus after that one show, and I started doing vocals ever since.
Yeah. Now, Saul, you mentioned that you started playing bass, right?
Yeah.
Now, why was there a switch?
There became a switch because like over here where I am, it's really hard to come across drummers, and for a while I was like recording my own music, so I'd record music like drums, bass, and guitar all together. You know, it was very hard to come across people who were either down with it, like pretty much dedicated, or even could even play. And I started thinking, so I was like, man, fuck everybody. I'm just gonna fucking do everything myself. And eventually it became a fucking disaster because at the time I didn't have the money to produce what I wanted to produce. So later on it became, I was looking for people and I just started a band. I was like, you know, fuck that side project shit. I just want to just jam. And we jammed and it just became a band.
Yeah. Like me personally, I love bass. So if there's like ever like a really just good gut busting bass solo, I just melt. Cause I'm like, oh dude, like Geddy Lee, man. Geddy Lee is. And I was actually just having a talk with my friend that plays bass. So Frost, if you're listening, there's a little shout out for you. She was like, you can't sit there and say Geddy Lee is the best because what about Cliff? What about Lemmy? And I'm like,
well, I mean,
I'm like, dude, seriously, Geddy Lee is like, that's just my opinion.
I mean, there's plenty of fucking good bassists out there. I mean, there's Flea out there. There's I would say Buckethead's a really good producer, bassist, drummer, guitarist. There's plenty of great bassists out there.
Yeah. So, the next song that we're going to be playing for everybody here, off the demo that you guys have sent over to me, this is Played Out. So you guys want to, like, give us any little repertoire about this little ditty that everyone's going to be hearing here?
It's groovy.
I wrote that.
I mean, it's a great song. I mean, we really put our hearts out in that song. I think it would sound a lot better though when we actually get the full recording down with two guitars and that bass.
Yeah.
So the thing we Played Out, when we wrote it, we were just really thinking about like every type of music out there, including the local scene, how everything sounds exactly identical. That's what we didn't want to sound like, and maybe that's why we sound different from all the other bands. At least in my opinion, I think so.
Yeah.
We did that. We didn't want to sound like everyone else. I would go to a show and I would see people getting into the music, and then what happens? The next band comes up and they're exactly the same. Mm-hmm. Personally, I love music. I want to hear variety. I want to see something different. I don't want to be another clone. And I think that's really what Played Out is about.
I mean, another retrospective of that thing is that you listen to the radio and they're playing fucking songs over and over by some shitty fucking artist that everybody knows and everybody knows is shit, but they just can't help themselves. They just like to trend out.
Sell out.
And sell out. For sure.
See, that was my opinion, like back in the day. Gosh, I think this was like 2000. Yeah, like 2000.
Yeah.
Once a band was played on Kiss FM, if they were a hard rock band and they were played on Kiss FM, they have sold out.
Lenny Kravitz.
I was listening to the Kiss FM station out here by me, and I was hearing Papa Roach on Kiss FM, and I'm like, oh God.
Or Three Doors Down.
Would you tear your heart open and tell yourself shit?
No, I was hearing "Cut My Life into Pieces," and I'm like, all the little girls were like, "Oh, I love this song," and I'm like, "Yeah, seriously, do you even know what this song is about?" Okay.
That was the last resort.
Another song is Kryptonite.
Oh God, yes. But I like Three Doors Down. I really do. They're really good. I've seen them a few times live.
Over and over and over again.
Oh, that song was played out. It was so played out, which is what we're going to be playing, a song called Played Out. But I that's why, for the most part, I don't listen to mainstream radio anymore. I download music if I hear it and play it in my car off my iPod or my MP3 player. And I think it took me about 4 months before I finally heard the song Heathens and downloaded the song, and I was playing it in my car, and my buddy said, dude, this song is so played out. I'm like, dude, no, I just heard it. And they were like, you don't listen to the radio. That's right. Fuck.
I mean, I like to support local bands. I'm actually about to purchase a CD from a band called Nightmare Visions. They came out with great fucking I don't know if it's an album or an EP. They had 8 songs, and I just recently purchased Daydrunk's album from Dr. Strange Records, and when we come out with our full album, we're going to distribute it to them so they can distribute it to everybody else. And then when I went down there, I originally went down there just for a couple things, and I just happened to see Daydrunk's album there, and I was like, dude, that's fucking Daydrunks right there. I know them. And they're like, yeah, they're a bunch of good fucking people. They put their album right here, and I told them we were in a band, and they were like, hey, yeah, come down, we support you guys. There's Dr. Strange Records in Rancho Cucamonga. And they're like, yeah, bring down your record, we can sell it, and we can negotiate a price. I'm like, dude, don't worry about selling it, we're giving it out for free. I mean, nowadays, you hear free, everybody flocks, right?
Exactly.
$5 or $10, and nobody's like, I don't have that money.
Yeah. Because now I'm doing the promoting thing alongside with hosting, doing my podcast. I'm also doing promoting. And I had a show, 4 great bands. I had 2 shows already. I got another one coming up later this month on the 22nd. But I've had shows where they're $5 and people are complaining. And I'm like, you got to tell me, seriously, $5 to see 4 killer bands, and you're going to complain about $5.
Oh, but people got money when fucking Metallica comes in town.
Exactly.
The original Misfits.
The original Misfits is another fucking example.
$250 per ticket, fuck you.
$250 per fucking ticket, and you're sitting in the goddamn nosebleed, bro.
Say you love your fans, fuck you.
It's like, I love Doyle, and Danzig is the shit. I think they might have the ex-Slayer drummer again. But fucking Jerry Only, me vale verga, güey.
Fuck him. Asshole.
As always, we got sidetracked again. It's a wonderful thing with my show, but I don't care. It's what I do. So, guys, before we get sidetracked more, we're going to play that song for you guys. This is Played Out. Check it out. Alright, guys, we're back. Unsigned, Unhinged Meltdown. I got Capital Punishment with me from California. To Live and Die in LA. Oh, that's me going with Tupac. Anyway. I love my hip-hop just as much as I do my rock and metal, man. I can't help it. I can't help it.
Diversity.
I'm hugely diverse. Like, come and look at my music collection, and people will be like, "What the hell?" They can't. They're like, "Dude, you got Phil Collins, you got Eric Clapton, you got Tupac, NWA, freaking Avenged Sevenfold, fucking Metallica. What the fuck?"
Hey, it sounds like we got a party.
Dude, like, my music, like, is so diverse. Like, I even got a little bit of Casey and the Sunshine Band up in there, a little bit of Village People. I don't care. If it's music and it's good, I'm all about it. Plus, I used to DJ. So, like, all types of music just kind of grew onto me. But we're getting to the point in the show where we talk about something that's really important that's going on. And that is social media and how it affects the local music industry. Would you guys say that social media really helps you guys as a band, or would you say that it hinders you guys at times as well?
Well, I honestly think it's both. I mean, first of all, like social media has definitely helped out bands such as us and many before us. Before people used to have to put up flyers and have to go out and do things, which is great, like to get out of the house and like promote physically. Nowadays, you just touch a couple screens and it's right there, and it's just so easy. But it's also so hard because there's so much competition out there. I mean, you go from like pages about bands and pages about the best guitarists, and I'm seeking a band, and I'm seeking a guitarist, I'm seeking a bassist, drummer, everything. So I mean, it goes hand in hand. It's good and bad. Definitely, it hands out like more competition for sure.
What do you think, Eddie?
It definitely helps because as far as some of the gigs that we've had, the reason we even got them, I saw the flyers for something they already planned, but at the very bottom it'll say something like more bands to be announced. So I hit up whoever posts that, and it's like, oh yeah, we're looking for more punk bands, metal bands, whatever. And that's when I tell them, hey, we're a band, we're looking to play.
Yeah.
And, they're the guys promoting it, they're the guys throwing it, so they put us on the bill, and now we have gigs. So it definitely helps us.
Like, a lot of people have also said, at least from personal friends that I have, that punk is dead. And I'm like, no, dude, punk is not dead. Punk is, like, merely dormant, dude. Because there's a few good punk bands that are out here in the Kenosha Racine area here in Wisconsin. You got Slaughter Party, which is out here. They're kind of like a horror punk band, which they're freaking awesome. The First Rule, which is a pop punk band, which, yeah, it's pop punk, but, dude, they're freaking punk. And the Union League, dude, they're great. They sound just like freaking Rancid, Pennywise, old school punk. Like, I like the old school punk style. A lot of this pop punk stuff that's going on now, like Blink-182, like how they switched to the pop punk, Green Day doing the pop punk thing. I don't know. I'm like, especially like country, how like country is now pop. I don't understand why music is like doing the poppy thing now. I mean,
it's that they're going to the wrong scene. Like, if you come down to LA, Compton, South Central, you come down to Orange County, you had that hardcore scene that no one's fucking touched. It's been around for fucking decades already.
Yeah.
You know, no one's even heard of, touched, and it's kind of sad. A lot of these bands just come and fall. That's another reason too why people think punk is dead. A lot of bands just come around and like they're shining, they're really fucking badass, and then out of nowhere they just fall off the map.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, if you guys ever up in this area in the Midwest, you let me know, because I'm going to get a punk show going and I'm going to put you guys on it. Just saying. I'm just saying. Seriously.
Badass. I mean, we would love to fucking tour out there for sure. At least a week out there. You know, out towards the Midwest, going towards Arizona, Texas, and maybe
New York eventually.
Hopefully the NYC, out towards the East Coast.
Yeah. Now, one of the last few questions that we have here. Now, this is a question that I've asked so much because I'm seeing it so much now. So this is a question for Vivian. For those of you that don't know, because you don't know their names, because silly me, I didn't announce them, but that's okay. We're like 90% of the way through. But Vivian is the lead singer, which I'm sure you guys know because she said she was, and obviously a female, and it's the only female here. So I'm rambling, but it's all good. So Vivian, as I am seeing this so much more now, and I don't know if it's just a trend that's going like across the globe or what, but I am seeing so many female front singers now. Do you feel like this is a trend that's starting to develop, or do you feel like people are, you know, just trying to be trendy and just use it as a publicity stunt?
You know, honestly, when I started doing vocals, especially for a punk band, like before this, I was in another band. There was literally like me and maybe another band that had a girl lead singer. Keep in mind, I'm in LA, so. But honestly, I don't think of myself as a female singer. I think of myself as a singer. And people ask me that question a lot. And honestly, when I'm just performing, I don't think of myself as anything other than what I'm feeling at that moment. It has nothing to do with me being a female. But as for it being a trend, yeah, of course. I mean, people see a girl singer and they pay attention. And unfortunately, now everything is about image. And nobody's really paying attention anymore to what the lyrics are actually saying. And that's what really annoys me about the LA scene. Because a lot of it is just, oh, well, she has tits and she has a microphone. No, there's a lot more behind it. And no, I don't see myself as a female when I'm singing. I'm just a singer.
Yeah. So, in your face, Buck Rogers.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, if you're looking at me and staring at my tits and whatever, but honestly, if that's all you're staring at, just fucking look away, please, because I'm probably going to end up just punching you or some shit, because it really annoys the fuck out of me.
I mean, in the end...
My eyes are up here, gentlemen.
I mean, like the music speaks for itself, whether you're a girl singer, guy singer. I mean, you have bands like Dulce Doom, you have bands like Anti-Schism, Os Rotten, all have like, you know, like a female vocalist, and they all got somewhere. Regardless, the music speaks for itself on record.
It's not just about a sex symbol.
Exactly. So, the last question that we have before we get into the last song that we're going to play. As everybody knows, on the Unsigned, Unhinged Meltdown, Frank E. is probably the hugest wrestling fan in the entire world. Like, seriously. My if you guys could see my bedroom, you'd be like, what the hell? So, with that being said, if a wrestler had came to Capital Punishment and said, I want to use one of your songs as an entrance song, what song would you hand to them to use?
Oh, fuck, that's a hard one.
Undertaker can take Death Cab.
I mean, I don't know. I would say, fuck, I mean, what do you guys say?
Undertaker and he can take Death Cab.
Nah,
For me, Kane definitely takes Terror Squad.
Yeah, Kane and Terror Squad, yeah.
Kane, just, it goes.
And again, like that's just a demo, so like when it comes out on actual recording, it's gonna be fucking amazing.
In all honesty, I would just tell him to F.O. because Like it's not meant to be freaking mainstream. So that's just gonna be the end product of it.
You want to use my music? Fuck off, dude. You can't use it. Well, with that being said,
100,000 punk rock points.
With that being said, we're gonna play the last song, which ironically is how they emailed it to me, saying it's supposed to be their intro to the CD, which is just like a musical intro. Which honestly, guys, seriously, get some lyrics to it, Vivian. Come on, get on top of this shit.
That's what I'm saying.
So, I mean, this is 91 Freeway, but is there like... Now, I've had, the classic, like, bands that are like the instrumental rock bands that have actually had meanings behind the songs that they're writing. So, is there like a meaning behind 91 Freeway when you guys were writing it?
Actually, yes, and talk to Vivian about that. She's the one who wrote the song, and we just ran with it.
Alright, so I didn't write the whole song. I just wrote the basic intro, and of course, our awesome guitarist.
And awesome drummer, fuck you.
Yeah, like guitarist, sorry.
Drummer,
I'm
fuck
just
you.
kidding, drummer's awesome. That song, I was actually going to college, working on my bachelor's degree, and I was actually driving home from work, and I had just gone to school and just finished a full shift, and I did graveyard. I was just driving on the freeway, the 91, ironically, that's where I got the name, and I was just driving and just thinking about how hard life really is. Like, when you're a teenager, you don't realize how difficult it really is, especially when you're a mom and all kinds of shit. So I was just driving along, and I just came up with this riff, and when I got home, after a hard, fucking, long-ass day, I just picked up my guitar, and I just started at it. And when me and Saul created the band, I was just introducing songs, and he really enjoyed that one, so we just ran with it.
And on top of that, I think that when I introduced the new members of the band, they kind of took that and ran with it. Andrew, our lead guitarist right here, just amazingly came up with like these fucking riffs. And me as a drummer, I just fucking ran with it. And the bass player was like, dude, that's fucking rocking. You gotta keep that as an intro. I kept pushing the issue of having lyrics on it. She said no. And I keep saying yes. So maybe it's still in the works, because we're still in the works of having the album. So maybe that might be a change. Now that you actually have my back on my point.
So, very in-depth, she was driving on a freeway that happened to be called 91, and boom, this thing came about. It's just ironic, like, the things that will inspire people for writing things. That's all I could say. Mine is mainly me having anxiety attacks, and I just get really angsty, and I just write something. So, anyway, with that being said, we're going to play the song 91 Freeway, but before I do, I just want to say thank you to Capital Punishment for coming on the Unsigned Unhinged Meltdown. I really appreciate the time you've given me.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Oh, dude, no. Thank you guys for actually busting your asses and like doing the music that you guys do. I get thanked so much for doing this show, but in all honesty, if it wasn't for you guys doing the music out there, this show wouldn't even be around. So it's me and it's my listeners that should be saying thank you for you guys just busting your ass, like working 2-3 jobs plus doing the rock and roll gig as like sometimes a 3rd, 4th, or even a 5th job. So yeah, thank you guys for all the hard work that you guys do. We really appreciate it as fans of music.
We appreciate you.
Well, I truly appreciate you appreciating me. But
would you like to know our names?
Oh yeah, we should. See, we should really do that now. My gosh, Vivian, you're on top of the ball. I might have to have you as a co-host one time.
I'll do it.
Bet.
I love to talk.
All right, guys, go around the horn before we kill this thing and just like say your name and what you play in the band.
John Wayne, but they call me Tiny, so bass.
Andrew, play guitar.
Eddie Iron, bass, and guitar.
Salty, I'm on drums. Amazing drums.
My name is Vivian. My friends call me Vandal. Shout out to you guys. What I do, I yell into a microphone very angrily, and it helps me. It's therapy.
Very angrily, she yells in the microphone. So descriptive, so descriptive. And because I've heard it, I could say, Andrew, you're badass. Seriously, you're badass. He looks so modest. You guys can't see video, but I can see video. And he's just sitting there looking like the guy that just discovered oil. Like, yeah, I discovered oil. No big deal.
He's the princess of the band.
King Diva.
He's very humble. I can tell that much. You seem very humble.
Just a bit, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. All right, guys. So that's it for the Unsigned Unhinged Meltdown. Check out Capital Punishment 91 Freeway. We'll catch you guys back here next time.
This was 91 Freeway.